start the game here at Doncaster versus Donny East. Ollie went up the ruck, run the tap forward for Donny East as they do get it out of the, well, they got it forward of the centre circle. Tackle flew in from the Sharks to just keep it as a disputed ball at half forward for the Lions. And it's going to be a free kick or ball up as it just as the kick was going to be pushed into the forward line for Donny East. The tackle flew in on Appleby. Rucks go at it. Spencer was good to get it down to ground level with Donny sharing it wide. To the wing they go. Kick goes down the line. Underneath it, push out. No free kick. Yeah, the umpire saw that. There was a nudge in the back from the defender there in Haswell, and he's conceded the free kick at half forward. So Doncaster looking for options. Anarchis is floating around. It goes to the goal square where it's all Doncaster East tools, and the tackle flies in and kept in the area nicely by Coman. So another tall in the forward line there for Doncaster. So they're loading up in their forward line.
I think a heavily contested game here, Gav, is going to suit Doncaster more than Doncaster East.
Gordon did the ruck work as he's a defender, and it spilled out to Paparonis, who now kicks it long to the wing out of defence. Clearing kick, but it's now in Sharks' control. Not yet. They lose it in the contest, and the tackles are flying in. This is fantastic start, and this is what you want local rivals to do, is to go at each other.
Just an early around the grounds, Surrey Park 8-6-54 lead Forest Hill 5-5-35, so that game started a bit earlier today.
So out of that contest from the clearing kick, it went out of bounds, so it's a ball in. Again, Spencer gets front position. Nicely worked. 1-2 combination as Donny tried to run it in. The hand pass was caught by the same player, but his kick was chopped off, and it's marked by Simon White. He's the optimum sweeper. He floats around and he just takes possessions, and now he goes to the outer side. Kick finds Haswell taking a chest mark, but now it slows up for Donny East. Short kick is on, but he just dumps a kick to centre forward, hoping for a contest to go the Lions' way. Ground level ball does get to going, trying to pick it up, but can't, is Heath. And when he was bent over, he just got tackled high, and he really wasn't going to grab it at all. So it's a lucky free kick for the Lions.
Well, Ryan Long wanted Doncaster East to play with a little bit more poise and purpose moving into the forward line, and we saw a little bit of that with Simon Wright directing traffic out off that half-back line then.
So it's Heath been marched forward because the man on the mark, is this a stand rule? Or I wasn't really concentrating, but he's been marched back 25 metres. So now Heath's in scoring distance within 30.
Could be some colourful language there too, Gav.
Yeah, well, if you look at they don't have a scoreboard to look at and wave at, so we should be right for that one. So it's Heath on an acute angle, 45 degrees, but he's within striking distance. He pushes to the left. The goal umpire's doing a dash, and it's a minor score. So that's the first score on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. It goes to Doncaster East. The visitors are 1 point leading by that margin.
He probably shouldn't have missed that shot there, Heath. I thought that was definitely a gettable goal then.
It's not an easy, for mine historically, when I've watched games here, it's not an easy end to, it seems like balls slide across the goals a bit. I don't know why that is. We'll work it out later. As Doncaster East go again, inside forward line, bouncing ball gets to the leading target of Shalakis, and he, on the bounce, gets it, but is taken out of bounds.
You wouldn't want to be taking too many shots from that sort of angle on the pocket because it is such a wide ground. So
yeah, that's
the
probably
further
wide.
out, a bit more of an angle, harder to kick.
It probably suited more a left footer, Ryan.
Yeah.
Boundary throw in 30 around from Doncaster East goals. But at ground level, it's a disputed ball and it's gone out of bounds again. So at least there's under the ruckman, it's a great contest so far.
There is no stoppage supremacy for either side at this particular stage of the contest.
So Ollie going against Spencer, and Spencer uses his weight and height just to lay the ball down, but this time there was no Sharks there at ground level, but they have the tacklers to win a free kick, and that was beautifully done by Tweedy. So they didn't have the rover, but they had the tackler, and it was a hot holding the ball. So Tweedy will look at options, and he's called to hurry up by the umpire because he was taking very long effort there. The kick goes to the wing, drop ball by White. So at ground level, it stacks on the mill on the wing, and it'll be a ball up as we tick over 4 minutes with only one minor score. That going to Donny East. So it's now again, rucks go at it. Doncaster might spill out of the front of the contest, but no, not claimed there by Vickers. So it goes the other way through Siravola. His hand pass was a grubber. So now it's a tough ball to win. Siravola runs onto it again. He puts his hip into the contest. He wins the ball forward through muscle, and he might run onto it again. He's there for as a shepherd as the kick comes off the ground by Santoro. Now Shalakas, he gets wrapped up so much so that he was trying to wiggle out of the tackle, and it's now a ball up 30 metres from Doncaster East goal.
Just on Cheravola, it's probably important to mention his 100th game today, so he'll be out for a big one today, this afternoon.
So again, Doncaster East win at ground level, and my co-commentator ready to help out.
I'll join the broadcast.
Matt Fodia, thanks for chipping in, as that was 4 minutes of good football, but it's Donny East just started to get some ascendancy go forward. Now they have a shot at goal, and it's in the hands of Heath.
He's got a bit of it already, hasn't he, Gav? That number has always been a goal kicker for Doncaster East, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, let's don't put the pressure on him. So from 50 metres out, I'll see what he can do as he took the short pass option, and he's hooked it again. This time it was for length he was trying, and he's missed it big time again. The goal umpire signals another minor score. Doncaster East 2 minus scores on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. 6 minutes in, first term.
He's overhitting them, isn't he?
Yeah, and he actually ran to that direction. His foot actually directed the ball to the left-hand side there.
So the Sharks will bring it back into play in the hands of Tweedy. Campbell Tweedy. So some Tweedies in defence for Doncaster today, and of course Nord around the grounds. Long ball out towards the Spencer direction. Big fly coming over the back there from Coleman. Brought it to ground, but it's all the Lions. Whitling. Long ball inside forward 50. Who's he looking for this time? It should be all the Sharks, but they spoil themselves. Tweedy will come up with it. It's tackled by Locke. Umpire says, holding the ball.
Wow.
So good start for the tackling pressure there of the Lions, and really Brash and Ryan, they probably should have gobbled that up, the Sharks. It was 2-0.
Yeah, that was really poor there. Not enough talk there by the Doncaster defence, but really good tackle there by Jimmy Locke, locking that ball in that 50, which is what Doncaster East will be looking for this afternoon to create that turnover.
They're having all the play early. They need to start converting in these sort of shots, though.
Well, Jimmy Locke, this one's the easiest kick of the day, 25 metres out, and he, Gavin, has hooked that as well. It's incredible, Moz, from ourselves. We're yet to have a Tobin Brothers goal of the day. It's 3 behinds going the way of Doncaster East. Doncaster yet to score. 7 minutes gone in this first quarter.
There can't possibly be a wind out there, Brian, could there?
No,
the trees aren't moving, Brush.
Doesn't look like it. And they're just struggling. Doncaster struggling to get this second kick out of their defence.
So long ball again. This time it was Coughlin bringing it in. Big fly. Might be a free kick for a shove out. No, Mark Paid going the way there of Haswell, one of the recruits from Newcastle in the New South Wales for Doncaster East. Nice kick and the lead up again. This time it's Sam Rowe, and he'll mark 45 metres out on a slight angle, but a man of his calibre won't be really worried about either the distance or the angle, you would have thought.
Yeah, you would expect a man of Sam Rowe's quality and class to be able to thread the needle here.
So Rowe, he'll shoot from just outside the arc, and Doncaster East have had all the play for other than the opening minute, and really should get a goal for their efforts. So Rowe comes in, a little bit of that. It's come into the trend now, the Josh Kennedy double skip. He connects. This is an absolute mung. It's floating out to the left. And now we have 4 behinds, all that one way. Maybe there is a slight breeze. A zephyr.
That little stick left of the big stick, that's when you get minor score. They need to get it between.
Well, and I'm sure Ryan James is furiously jotting that down on the boundary line, Gav. But it's 4 behinds at the moment, Doncaster East. Doncaster yet to score.
So the long kick out to about 4-on-4 in a marking contest. So the punch comes out, and Donny East contain it inside their area, out of bounds, left pocket. Yeah, it's a funny one. It's like it's contagious, where you hook your foot just hoping not to.
Max King.
So it's going to be a boundary throw in again. Spencer dominating, but ground level, it's this time one forward again by Donny East. Kick just charges in on the lead. Well done by Rowe. He was leading into it, and as defenders were falling in that area, he slid in, and on his knees he took a nice chest mark under some peril of getting connected with, but he didn't. He took a nice chest mark.
I think you've got to be a bit concerned with the Doncaster defence. That's the 4th inside 50 mark that they've given up, and they have been quite easy. The second one by Rowe. Haven't really had enough body on body against him.
So he led up nicely there, and he slid into the mark. So Rowe, has he learned from his last kick? Put it straight on the laces. This time it's a better kick, but again it's drifting, and carbon copy. This time it's a little bit more accurate, but it's still minus.
They're getting there, Gav.
It's getting closer. It's 5 points to the left. Doncaster East on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard are 5 points. Doncaster yet to score.
Maybe they should add. Maybe they should aim inside right goal post.
Yeah, well, even
They're
right
not
out
missing.
far right. We don't know where they're aiming to. We'd love to know. So coming out of Vets is Coghlan. Runs his full distance. Kick was smothered. And the Lions, they run it in towards the goal. Might come to shin. There from Darcy Jones Hughes. He just sort of shinned it whilst chasing down. So Doncaster, as Ryan mentioned, they're flat out at the moment. It's 6 behind. So they've been let off. They only trail by 6 points, and we've gone 10 minutes. As the scoreboard has indicated they've got to score. They don't, but they just have not been able to get it out of their defensive arc. This time they go to Spencer. It was the skipper Massini bringing in, and Dylan Ollie slapped it over the line for a boundary throw-in.
The only downfall to a local rivalry where both clubs have Doncaster in their name is that we're going to confuse ourselves.
Yeah, we are. I need
and
to
the
go
scoreboard.
Sharks and Lions. So Spencer and Ollie. Spencer just gets rid of him, but can the Sharks make something of it? Jack Mahon, back for his first game of the year after a practice match suspension. Left him out of round one.
I'm just wondering whether Doncaster East will be quite prepared to give up the ruck and try and feed off Spencer for the rest of the
So
afternoon.
they're doing. Mahon came through, got the handball away to Cole Vickers. That we like the ball in his hands. He hooks it wide, looking for J Mail up against Gordon. Not Gordon under it, but Gordon got a hand to it. And then coming through, it looks like it might have been Jones Hughes again, and we'll have a ball up. Half-forward flank for the Sharks.
Just as long as Ollie provides a contest, and if Spencer wins, but if Doncaster East playmakers get in the right positions, they're going to win the clearances all afternoon.
It's a secondary ball up on the bottom of that pack. Is the number 10 for Doncaster.
And that's Milford Robertson.
It is.
Not 3.
Is
He's
it?
10.
Here we go again, around the footy. It's Milford Robertson again, and we'll have another stoppage. He's got the bright green boots on, which is nice. So Vickers has got the Whittling matchup just off this contest. Rowe came through as the second ruck and just sprinted past Spencer there to slap it towards the boundary line, and we'll have another stoppage right in front of the Doncaster bench. Of course, Chris Anarkis. Oh no, sorry, it's a free kick going the way of Appleby, and he brings it into the corridor.
Dangerous tackle.
And it's dropped by the Donny East player, so it allows Doncaster to sprint away in the forward line, and all on his own. Sprinting to the ball is Jamar. He was sloping his way there, and coming over the top of the defence says, I've got a cord just flinging in my head. As now it's a clearing kick from White. Thanks, Bruce, for that. So I thought you were going to hang me then for a second with that cord. Slightly distracting, but we move on. Gordon's got... No, this is Barassi for Doncaster. He kicks it inside with a wobbler. The bouncing ball sits up nicely for Jones, and he walks his way out of defence. But where does he go next? Butt kick it to the opposition. And, well, there's an off-the-ball free kick.
I think it's going to Vickers.
And Vickers...
Ran too far.
Ran too far.
Well, when I was talking about him walking out of defence, it wasn't
it was a gallop.
Park stroll. He's like, you are still meant to bounce or kick it.
Speaking of strolling, Gav, Mark Jamar doesn't look like top speed's his thing anymore.
No, but it's going towards Van der Haar. Van der Haar underneath it. He had 3 against him effectively, but the tackle was too much by Van der Haar trying to keep in the contest, and Heath walks his way out, bounces it there though. That's better than Jones. Hands it over his teammate and Ryan. Ryan has to stop on his feet, and his hand pass didn't go too well for Locke. He just kicks it in front of himself. Turnover now, and that's his head's ripped off the Donny player there in Mahon, and Mahon will claim the free kick. So it's a bit messy as they go forward, both sides.
This is better though. Mahon came inboard, trying to open up the ground of the Sharks. They've had a little bit of the play these last 2 minutes, and just that final ball. As he's looked to have unloaded the barrel, he didn't quite get it towards centre forward. It's a chaos ball. Simon White sits under it, takes another intercept mark,
It's higher,
and
but it
goes
was longer.
and goes wide immediately to Whittling. Got some space on his trusty left boot. Little ball in the middle. Was looking for Appleby. Got there on the bounce in the end to Jones Hughes, who spears it into a Doncaster player, and then will have to be wrapped up by Massini. And then coming in and supporting him was Coghlan. So a ball up, centre half forward for the Lions. Ryan.
Yeah, just watching Tom Gordon, clearly he's been happy to run off JMR and move up forward. So any time that the ball, the Lions have pushed forward, so we'll keep an eye on that. He'll probably look to try and run him off his feet.
Yeah, absolutely. Then we piled in for a couple more stoppages.
What I like about Doncaster, if not winning the ball, their defence around the stoppage to maybe smother has been pretty good.
Yeah, and that was something Chris Anarkis talked about pre-game, that Nord walked it out of the stoppage last week. And so far, Doncaster East haven't been able to do that. Another fine example is there's a free kick going the way of Isaac Barassi for holding the ball. I don't think it was on DeLuca, but he stands the mark, although there might be a reversal. Jack Marn, as I mentioned, was reported in a practice game and missed round 1, and he's given away a free kick, and he's left Jackson Green, who was best on ground for the Lions in round 1 against Vermont, in a little worse where there might be a yellow coming out. There is yellow card to Jack Marn. That's not good. That's not good discipline, Brash, especially after how hard they've worked to make sure that the Lions don't kick away from them. They finally had the ball with a bit of space. Yeah, no, they've given it away.
You can't afford to have your senior player off for 15 minutes for
and coming back from suspension as well.
Yeah, it's not a good look.
Well, it should be 25 metres as well. Sorry, Ron.
Nothing more disappointing when you've got the ball and you're about to go forward as well. That's a complete reversal.
So we've seen a couple of them already this year, of course. One against the bench out at the Basin. Well, no baseball cap throwing though so far today.
Well, they have written it down, Matt. So would that mean that they might?
I think you have to write the yellow card down just for your match, but I'm not sure about a report. I think that'll come later. I'm not sure. We can find out more. I know we've been having a bit of technical difficulties with our bandy riders.
If we're going to give evidence, and I'm not ready. I'm not a witness.
Well, I still think Jackson Green. I think Jackson Green should get a 50-metre penalty or 25. Sorry, but he gives the handball to Josh DeLuca. Left foot ball inside forward 50. They've been taking a lot of marks to the Lions. This one was knocked to ground, but Rose there tried to look for Locke. Spencer handball out the back. Stepping in and out trouble there was Coughlin and did well. And then again a rush kick towards the wing. Simon White does well. Got his handball back in there to his teammate, and then they go forward again, the Lions. This time to the hot spot. Spencer sits under and takes a good mark and will try to slow things down for the Sharks.
So Spencer's is waving like a general to the left side. He does kick it to his teammate there, so they've... but that's where it stops, because the zone work behind the ball by Donny East is fantastic, but the lead-up is hit for McGarnis. McGarnis hands it back to the kicker, and we've got a short on. It doesn't get all the way to Barassi, but he might be on the end of a chain of hand passes. They're linking up now. Over the top, Milford Robinson runs from half-back, kicks it down the line. Underneath it was Coleman, had a jumper pull as he was in the marking contest, and the umpire now sees a hold in the man decision go the way of Donny East. So a bit stiff there was Coleman. And White will take the free kick. So White from the half-back sees a great option all on the own. And it's well kicked to Shalakis. He's got a short option in board. The bouncing ball hits up Locke. Locke looks for options. He'll just go towards goal. That's the prime objective. And this time, as they load it, they're getting closer. They are getting closer. Hitting the post, you can't get any closer. 7 minor scores, though. Doncaster East on the Bendigo Bank are 7 points, all from behinds, and Doncaster yet to score.
I'll put good money on Darcy Jones-Hughes kicking the next behind, because Locke, Rowe and Heath have all got 2. He's got the only single, as it's just kicked the defensive 50 for the Sharks, and they've turned it over immediately. Low drilling ball will find a target. Dropping the mark there was Locke, been in it a bit. Handball over the top to Shalakis. Left foot ball from the pocket. Looks pretty good off the boot, and it'll be downfield by the sounds of it. There's a whistle. And then I think it should be Heath free, but sprinting in was Daniel Scalia. And he's going to take the free kick from point-blank range. And finally, the Lions, Gav, have a goal. We've gone 17 and a bit minutes. It's Doncaster East 1-7-13. Doncaster yet to score.
Yeah, well, some poor defence and poor work there by Doncaster in the last couple of minutes. Let's go down boundary side, Steve White.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Bit of a worse reception than my wedding down here with the signal. But as far as I'm concerned, a little bit of a breeze blowing now laterally across the ground from wing to wing, so it might come a factor later on.
Well, I'm happy it didn't end in divorce for you, Steve. But yeah,
put an asterisk next to that, Gav.
He just started with a low bar, Gav. Can only get better.
We'll hope we can improve your marriage between.
Do we offer that service?
Well, whatever we can do for you, Steve, we're here for you, mate. But it's now at ground level from the ball up in the middle. It's bouncing around with hand passes. DeLuca finally bounces out of trouble just with a nice fend off. His kick out wide was beautiful and hits up his teammate there. Heath got a short pass, but on the bounce, another target not hit for Donny East, and I reckon that's where the problem comes. They're just not hitting up their targets as they move forward, and there's a lot of numbers for Doncaster behind the ball just to congest the options.
Just a quick around the grounds. Beaconsfield 4 straight, 24 lead Bayswater 2 points, so it could be on for their first win in the EFL if they keep this up.
It'll be a big night down at Home Park if they get that. Ollie did well, followed up his hit out, got the handball over the top to DeLuca. He puts the ball to a dangerous spot, and there's another mark taken.
Andre.
As we go down to Brett Beston.
Boys, yes, we're just struggling down here, as Steve said, with a bit of reception. But while we're here, I can just tell you a couple of jumper changes for Doncaster today. Milford Robertson, that's Jade Milford Robinson, is in jersey 10. I think he was originally listed at number 3. And the other change today is Stoneham for Doncaster, who's wearing jersey 32.
So in comes Chris Phelan, and he kicks the second for the Lions. And they kick away 2-7-19. to Doncaster, yet to score. Thanks for that, Besto. Brash, Ryan, special comments. What can Doncaster do here in the latter stages of this first quarter?
Well, all of a sudden, the poise that Doncaster East needed has just come through. Doncaster, they can't get the ball out of their back 50, Ryan.
Yeah, you're right. They've been really struggling to transition the ball from the back line and also in the centre clearances too. Just in the middle, I don't think they've been able to sort of work with how dominant Spencer's been in the ruck. They probably need to start capitalising on that because it is such an advantage to have. But their ball winners, Doncaster East, have just had the luxury of right now.
Spencer runs into Ollie. The tap's nullified as Ollie gets up pretty high. And on the end of it, skipper Appleby gets it going forward for the Lions. The bouncing ball gets on the bounce to Locke. He picks it up now, has to elude. He runs around his opponent and kicks it into the pocket of the leading option on the... Oh, well done by Rowe. He nearly wasn't going to get there, but he scraped his knees and slid into it, and he got his hands underneath it just in time. And Locke, elusive, and finally hit a target going forward.
And he had so much time, Locke did, that he was able to lead out in front. He couldn't mark the ball, fumbled it, and still had time to be able to hit up a target.
There's been a stoppage called there, Gav. Must have been on the bobble as Jones Hughes must get a free kick. Was attacking the footy. Umpire said play on. And then standing up in the tackle and taking it is Ryan Hoverton for Doncaster. So they've dodged another bullet there, the Sharks.
And I won't trust any supporters clapping that was a mark next time.
Well, absolutely. I did think it was given a mark. Spencer hit out straight into the hands of Hendon. Disposed of it somehow. Shalakas came through, might be pinged here. No, took it over the line for a boundary throw and deep in the Lions forward pocket. We've ticked into time on.
I would think that Doncaster have probably had 4 inside 50s for the quarter, I'd reckon.
And I don't think they've kicked a drop punt when they've gone inside any time either, Brash. There've been a few helicopters from the Sharks. So, and Spencer, tap into the corridor is a dangerous one. Jones Hughes off the side of the boot. Heath, collision, free kick, Doncaster East.
Well, talk about a hospital ball.
Well, I assumed Jones Hughes was going for goal there, Gav. But yeah, off the side of the boot, Heath showed great commitment, and he's popped up and he'll have another shot. Of course, he's got 2 behinds already today.
Actually, both players showed great commitment to the contest then.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was sort of, you got to pay it because of the where the impact was, but there was no intent, you think, from Massini. But Dylan Heath, he's missed a couple from this exact spot, Gavin. Yep. So you would... I think he'd be aiming between the right goal post and right behind post as he trots in. He's got 0-2, and now he's got 1-2. Lions have opened up a 25-point buffer. They're 3-7-25. Sharks yet to score. 22 minutes gone. First term.
But it's almost like within a twinkling of an eye, Ryan. In 5 minutes, they've just turned up. They've just turned up the heat. Doncaster East. Their attack on the ball carrier has intensified, and they've been able to completely take advantage of the ruck work of Spencer.
Yeah, I think we knew that was coming with the first 5 to 7 minutes. Doncaster East had all the play. They just weren't able to put the score on the board. And now that they are, you suddenly look at it, they're 4 goals up already. So they really have to start winning it right here in the middle because they haven't.
And it was this time it's Spencer who said, I'm going to knock it 5 metres, and running onto the ball is Coughlin. Coughlin gets it up and under, of course he does, and it's underneath it. It's Simon White, of course it is. So it's just so typical of
a very cliche passage there, Gavin.
Yes, it was the inside 50s aren't pretty for Doncaster, and Simon White just reads everything beautifully. His short pass to the boundary was just the outlet pass, and high up and under by Whitling is definitely high and not very long. But at ground level, they do control the ball now, Lions, and on the bounce it's a running player in Seravola. His hand pass forward to Appleby. Appleby spears it in. Is this time a mark? No, not paid, as Shalakas dives for it, but he can't get it on the bounce. Now ground level, it goes to Shalakas. He gets it on his left boot under a heap of pressure. He kicks it, and on the bounce it's a defender running back, and a long kick out for Doncaster, hoping for a mark. Contested half back. It's now into the bouncing ball. Good work there by Seravola again, working with Appleby. Also there, doing it nicely is the Lions players, and Shalakas on the lead, runs into it a mark 40 metres out, and there was a bit of energy around the contest for Doncaster East. Long ball into the row underneath it. He muscles his opponent out. He plays on. Wasn't smothered as he kicked it.
No, it's a free kick.
Well, it's a free kick for a push out, so that's how he got to mark it unmanned, because his opponent was lying on the ground after being pushed.
And Ben Beganis didn't even know it was his free kick, Gav.
I reckon he understood that he got muscled out of it.
So Rambaldi bringing out a defence again for Doncaster. They've gone this defensive side. That should be a mark paid, and will be to looks like Tweedy. Tweedy gives the handball off immediately to Coughlin. Looks into the corridor. Dangerous ball, but he's got Spencer there. He can't get to it. Ball floats towards Anarchis. It bounces out the back. Might suit the Sharks in the end. Nice little spin from Vandahar. He's got Jamar all on his own in the goal square. Can he get to it? Big mark Jamar. He's under pressure from Gordon, but kicks the Sharks first. And against the run of play, they get their first goal. 1 straight 6. Doncaster East 3-7-25 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. 24 minutes gone.
To say they needed that goal was an understatement, because if they didn't get that turnover there in the midfield, they were in real trouble.
I like that they used the corridor though, Ryan. It paid off.
They did open it up, and that was a contest they just had to win, because if they didn't, that could have gone the other way, and Doncaster East would have had some numbers on the far side on the wing there to transfer the ball.
And Gavin, like I said, Mark Jamar, he's tall, he's athletic, he's well built, but he is closer to 40 than a lot of us.
It was like a mini-series waiting for him to get on the ball.
I was about to say, Tom Gordon backed himself in another couple of metres, and Tom Gordon would have backed himself to Heath Shore, I reckon.
I reckon Tom Gordon was being a bit fair, because I reckon he could have caught up if he tried.
Well,
he just didn't think he could.
Spencer in the middle, tried to take it out of the ruck and then dropped it, and Appleby came through, stormed away. He's got options inside forward 50. One of them is Scalia, stepped in and out, handball away. Umpire said play on. And now Coughlin's got it under pressure and it's tackled on the siren. The umpire's paid holding the ball. So Daniel Scalia will have a shot for goal after the siren to cancel out that Mark Jamar goal. He'll kick from 35 metres out. I'd say he's a bit tighter than a 45-degree angle, but it's a nice side for a right footer. Now, he can run around on the hook as long as he comes back on his line.
Can he?
If he starts further left and comes back onto his line, he's okay.
Right.
Although,
shouldn't the umpire get behind him then? Isn't that what they
probably
do in the AFL?
I don't like that there's a dog in the forward pocket at our end here just getting a bit of grass sent on. So obviously a few fans aren't backing him in, but here comes Scalia. He kicked the opening goal of the game from being opportunistic from a downfield free. And now he'll line up off the boot, spinning pretty well, going across the face though. And through for A behind, and that's been the story of the quarter for the Lions. On the Bendigo Bank scoreboard at quarter time, they are 3-8-26 with single goal kickers Dylan Heath, who's got 1 goal 2, Daniel Scalia 1 goal 1, and Chris Phelan 1 goal straight. And it's Doncaster 1 straight 6, thanks to Mark Jamar, who got 1 on the turnover. We're going to go to a break. On the other side, we'll have some reports from the huddles and the second quarter.
As Sarah opened her best friend Jackie's wedding invitation, she was overcome with a wave of emotion. While her 2 young boys wrestled on the floor, tears of happiness rolled down Sarah's cheeks as she saw the words she'd been longing to see. Please note, this wedding will be a child-free event. Well, Sarah, looks like we're off to Eastland for a new frock and some heels. And let's book in that babysitter. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? Broke a finger high-fiving the ruckman? Or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Do you feel good about your bank? Because there is a bank you can feel good about. They share their profits to fund big community projects, small community clubs and vital emergency services. They've given $250 million to help Australian communities thrive. They have all the products and tech you expect from a big bank, with service you don't.